new frontier of cross-media was hosted at the Casa del Cinema of Rome. ImMediaTe Cross-Media Summit was the first international conference to be held in Italy, addressing Italian and foreign enterprises and investors operating in the digital media and creative industries sector.
Certainly in terms of what Sony Computer Entertainment invests in, which is games, the landscape is very buoyant. We see the core game market growing, but also with digital platforms, and look at PlayStation 3's PlayStation Network. We've announced the new NGP console that will be largely digital as well. We believe further investment in content is necessary. That content, we feel, going forward needs to have network-centric abilities to reach a wider audience, and we feel it's important that content now marries with community in a very specific way.
The event was organized by Filas as part of the European project called ImMediaTe to enlighten enterprises on all the possible applications of digital media to the multiple platforms in the region of Lazio's strategic sectors, among which, for example, cultural assets and tourism, cinema, television, but also the audiovisual and scientific dissemination sectors, and to provide a meeting place for small and medium-sized enterprises and foreign investors.
I don't believe there are particular obstacles that are related to the digital media sector as opposed to other sectors. I mean, in the European scene, the biggest obstacle that is not really only related to this sector is that there's a lot more ideas than financing options available. So it might get complicated to put the idea across and underline what the unique selling propositions in a way that are well received by the financiers. So per se, there's not really a specific obstacle, but we are dealing with an ecosystem that is less developed than it should be.
The event also saw the participation of stakeholders and representatives of public institutions from Europe and Southeast Asia.
Progress with Filas has been very good, and because we have already known Filas for many years already, and I think the opportunity comes now in the cultural heritage preservation area. The timing is good because the Malaysian government, who I work for, is now very focused on what we call preservation of the cultural heritage through the digital world. So what this means is that, having seen what they are doing in Rome, which is one of the most unique places in the world for heritage, I think there's a lot of prospects in this particular area.
The event focused on the new opportunities offered by cross-media with representatives of the EU community and of leading companies in the field of media convergence, analyzing the strategic sectors of an entirely new market offering exponential growth opportunities. According to estimates provided by PricewaterhouseCoopers, in fact, by 2014, the global media entertainment market will register a 5% growth, reaching a total value of $1,700 billion.
Director Filas, in the last few years, has made some great leaps in technology for audiovisual sector. Are there new projects, or yes? As is already known, have developed a whole series of actions in favor of the technological sector in Lazio, and in particular in the recent phase for the creative industries. First, 4 years ago, we created the technological district of the assets and the cultural assets of Italy, supported by the Ministry of Research and Cultural Assets, which has already launched a series of activities and we are also planning in concert with the region and the various ministries.
A number of theme panels were held during the ImMediaTe Cross-Media Summit in order to study a variety of possible hybrid solutions between old and new media contents, technologies and business opportunities, among which Creativity 2 networked media, on the convergence between digital media and the web. Finance for Creativity to introduce enterprises to the financial instruments that can be utilized in the digital media sector. Particular attention was given to the most creative, small-sized enterprises in the sector, with 15 cross-media projects presented by the same number of enterprises. The applications presented were of a disparate nature, from edutainment, combining entertainment with education and training, to exploitation of cultural assets. The brand new gamification techniques were also presented, which by applying traditionally recreational rules and aspects to activities that are not strictly related to games, are capable of stimulate the interest of the public in the most disparate area of contents and creates solutions which may be beneficial to enterprises.
What's happening, I think, is that the media as a whole is a very young industry, and it's only about 100 years old. Television only appeared 50 years ago. And what's going on right now is the same way as it happened in the food industry or in the clothing industry. We now have an expanding range of ways we can relate to stories. Meaning, in a restaurant, we can have a microwave oven, heat up something, and we can go to a pizzeria, or we can go to a very fancy restaurant. Same thing in the film industry. We now have a range where the cinema is like haute couture, high fashion, and then watching a movie on a cell phone is like a cheap retail store. So this whole range expanding creates fear for people who have been working in film and television traditionally, and they need to learn about how moving to the other new spaces.
The most innovative projects were also awarded, including recognition for the best business ideas and the most effective presentations to potential clients. ImMediaTe Cross-Media Summit was held as part of the initiative called Europe Innova, a project funded by the European Union for which FILAS coordinated the project ImMediaTe. This event, the first of its kind in Italy, is the fourth of a series of events dedicated to the creative industries following those of Barcelona, Amsterdam and Malta.